Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn multiplexer. Multiplexer is a combinational circuit, and multiplexer has n selector line, 2 to the power n device connection line, and only one output line. Before starting the study of multiplexer, we must know that how should we understand, we learn about any circuit. Multiplexer or encoder, decoder, flip-flop, latches, these all are circuits, and every circuit has a purpose. The purpose must be clear to everyone. If we do not understand what is the purpose of this circuit, it would be very difficult to explore the knowledge about that particular circuit. We must know that there are two types of circuit, so every circuit falls under one category, and these types are combinational circuit and sequential circuit. Whenever we learn about any circuit, we must know that is it a combinational circuit or sequential circuit. So multiplexer is a combinational circuit. We all know that the combinational circuit are not as complicated as sequential circuit. So multiplexer is not going to be complicated at all. So the first point must be very clear that the multiplexer is a combinational circuit. The second point, every circuit has some input lines, some output lines. That must be very clear to you, that how many input lines a multiplexer has and how many output line of this circuit has. So see, so far output line is concerned, that must be very crystal clear to everyone that multiplexer has only one output line. We should not have any doubt about it. Now, so far the input lines of multiplexer is concerned, there are two categories of input lines in this circuit. See the board. This is the block diagram of multiplexer. As I have already told that the multiplexer has only one output line. No doubt about it. Now, when we talk about the input lines, there are two categories of input line. The first category is known as selector line. Selector lines. If there are two selector lines, then there will be 4 device connection lines. See, this is input lines, this is also input lines, but this is selector lines and this is device connection lines. The formula of selector lines and device connection line is that if there are n selector lines, then 2 to the power n device connection lines. It means 2 selector lines, then 4 device connection lines. In the same manner, if you will have 3 selector lines, then 2 into 2 into 2, that is 2, 4 and 8 device connection lines will be there. Now, the first point is multiplexer is combinational circuit. The second point is multiplexer has only one output lines. The third point is multiplexer has 2 categories of input lines, selector lines and device connection lines. But till this moment, we are not clear about what is the purpose of multiplexer. The purpose must be very clear about every circuit, otherwise it would be very difficult to understand. See, to understand the purpose, we have to first of all explore the internal need of the motherboard. See, if this is a motherboard, and suppose there is a device here. There are suppose 4 devices, and these 4 devices need to send the data to this end often. Sometimes this device sends the data, suppose this is D1, this is D2, this is D3, and this is D4. Sometimes D1 sends data, sometimes D2, D3, and D4. The designer of the computer architecture has 2 design possibilities. The first design possibility is that lay down 4 separate wires. The first wire for this device, the second wire for this device, the third wire for this device, and the 4th wire for this device. This design is very simple, but it has a problem that there will be 4 numbers of wires, a separate cable. If the designer will have the habit to opt this simple design, the motherboard will be full of wires. Now, what is the second design possibility? The second design possibility is lay down a single wire. The single wire will be used by all 4 devices to send the data. What if 2 devices will attempt to send the data at a time? There will be collision. Here, the role of multiplexer starts. You need to put a multiplexer here. These 4 devices will be connected with these 4 lines. And this is the selector line S0 and S1, suppose. The operating system will decide which device will be given this cable to send the data. If operating system puts 00 here on S0 and S1, then D1 will be allowed to send the data. D1 is allowed to send the data. At the same time, if D2 will attempt to send the data, then the data of D2 won't be allowed to travel on the wire. It is something like traffic controlling, where the traffic police stops one row of the road and allows the another row to move on. In the same manner, if 01 is given to as selector lines, then D1 will be allowed to send the data. If 10 is given to selector lines, then D3, and in the case of 11 on the selector line, the D4 will be allowed. Now these selector lines are controlled by operating system. Operating system controls the whole internal parts of the computer. So now we can conclude the concept of multiplexer. Now we are in a position to understand the purpose of multiplexer. The purpose of multiplexer is to reduce the number of cables in the motherboard. When more than one devices needs to send the data to a particular destination, laying down more than one wires, more than one cables are not wise decision, because all devices sends the not always sends the data to the destination. Sometimes first device is sending, another time second device is sending. That is why the designer uses multiplexer circuit. The multiplexer circuit reduces the number of data lines, and we must know that the IT industry or every industry is working on the nanotechnology day by day. We had the size of mobile larger with what we had today. So multiplexer also helps in reducing the overall size of the computer. Now we need to understand we need to explore the knowledge of multiplexer. This is the block diagram which gives you the rough idea. Now I'm going to draw the truth table. The block diagram helps to start the study, but it is not end of the study. This diagram will help you to understand what is the use of multiplexer. Now truth table, S0, S1 and output. If we have two selector lines, what are the possibilities? 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. In the case of 0, 0, D1, D2, D3, D4, D1 will be allowed. In the case of 0, 1, D2 will be allowed. In the case of 1, 0, D3 will be allowed. In the case of 1, 1, D4 will be allowed. This is the truth table. Truth table shows you all possibilities of the output of any circuit. Now we need to draw the circuit diagram. As the circuit diagram will become large enough, so we need to clear the board. See, the circuit diagram starts with two selector lines, S0. We need some space for devices here.